Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Trading Room. I'm Shane Vernier, and this is the week ahead. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about a few of the key levels we're going to watch. We're going to look at some key markets. We're going to talk about our economic calendar for the coming week. It's going to be an interesting one. We've got two big news events. One's on Wednesday and one's on Friday. We've got NFP Wednesday, CPI Friday. We're also going to look at the key markets, the big movers and shakers. Right now, I'm scoping Bitcoin. I'm watching Bitcoin closely. We've got a pretty good level down there to work with. Not bad. We've got a interesting rally in silver. I think that's one of those that we're definitely looking at. The silver markets, they have not disappointed. I haven't seen volatility like this since Arab Spring in the crude oil markets back in 2011. I mean, this is every single day. You're seeing huge daily ranges with silver. Right now, you're up another 6% today, printing right around 82. You got a lot going there. Gold back up right around 5,050. US 30 is getting compressed right around 50,000. I think there's a pullback in here. The real question is do we get that bullish close above 50,000? We saw a gap up on the open today out of the US 30. So 50,000 in play for the US 30. We've also got a US dollar that's in big trouble. It's on the slide of about 0.75%. So a lot of action. Also in your forex pairs. I think that we're going to be in a real great position this week to trade. I don't know that you can say that there's anything coming our way that we can't handle. I'm pretty sure that we can handle most things that are coming our way. So I'm very excited about the week ahead. I think it's going to be a fantastic one. We're going to get you prepped, ready to rock and roll. Remember, if you're interested in the strategy, check out the 9 EMA page. I went ahead and dropped that in, brought to you by Switch Markets. We've got all sorts of content there. We've got video. We've got enter your strategy pack. You're going to get a PDF there. And also that EA is going to be hitting, probably if it hasn't already hit today, it's going to be hitting relatively soon. So this is an interesting time to be in the markets. I get a lot of questions about strategies from the how to trade perspective. The 9 EMA was one of the most popular that we ever put out on the How to Trade YouTube channel. So go ahead and check it out. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, if it's something that you don't like, then you can certainly turn the page on it and do something else. But there's a lot of good materials there. I give you a video exactly how to trade it. We've got the EA coded and ready to go. And I think that it's going to be a pretty good strategy. I think it's going to be one of those things that a lot of people like to trade. So you can see right here, here's our EA. EA had a nice, really just a beautiful 5-minute sell signal set up here on this 9 EMA trade with the Euro USD. And you can see right there, we just got another one. That was on the gold 1-minute chart. So let's go ahead and see if we can go ahead and get on over there. Okay, there it is. So that's going to be a buy signal on gold. Let's go ahead and just take a buy. Show you how to manage this trade in real time. We've got sort of our buy signal developing beautifully right there. You can see you got your yellow caret or your gold caret. Tells you exactly when to buy. It tells you when to get into the market. You can see your RSI deep into oversold territory. Nice big move. And then a bullish close up above that 9 EMA. That gives you your entry point right there. That was really great timing. I wanted to talk 9 EMA. There it is. A couple of places you can put your stop loss. Number one, you can put it right beneath your trigger bar if you want to play really tight. Once again, you're going to have to do some back testing on which way is best for you. Personally, I like it beneath that swing low because that corresponds with my RSI reading. Relative strength index beneath 30, we're looking to buy. Above 70, we want to sell. Now, the last component of our trade is going to be our profit target. Look, we've got all sorts of things happening here. We've got one that just popped up on silver as well. Let's go ahead and just take this gold trade and see exactly how this develops. You can see that we're starting to make a little bit of money there down in our trader's toolbox. I just went with very small leverage. I highly recommend dialing your leverage into a very small amount if you're trading metals right now. 0.10 points, so about 10% of a lot, a tenth of a lot. Not bad. You could probably trade something like this on your prop account or maybe even your real money. So we're going to go ahead and let this one play out and look, but that is exactly, in a nutshell, how you execute this strategy. The EA, you download the EA, boom, you put the code in. I'm going to be making a video on exactly how you can do this process yourself, but something like this, nice buy signal. There's the close, the bullish close above the 9 EMA, stop loss located beneath that RSI, which is right down there. And now you have an opportunity maybe to get in on a runner here. Once again, the profit target is completely up to you. I'm not going to give you any standard protocol. You might be able to bring it down in here, maybe for a 1-to-1, something like that. I would be shooting probably right up in there. That's a pretty good trade. If you, in fact, wanted to use market structure, you could be targeting this zone right up in here, somewhere right around, 5,069 to maybe get paid off here and take a nice little bullish position there on gold. So trade's off and running. Looks pretty good through 3 minutes. We'll go ahead and check back on that in just a second. So got a lot of new faces in the room. Good to see everybody. Tina Jing, good to see you, Tina. Welcome. Gold and silver, the must-talk markets. Yeah, we have to talk gold and silver. Interesting 1-minute trade there on gold, though. Interesting stuff. Let me see. Yes, sir. Hey, and the week begins. Yep, we're off and rolling for another week. Already week number 6. 2026 on the markets. I'm excited. I think we're going to have a big one. Let me see. Bab. Good to see you, Bab. Hello, Shane. 50,000. The big round number came to pass. It's in play. It's in play. We're going to look at 50,000 for the Dow. I didn't like the way price action developed around that level. We saw a gap up above that on the open today. I don't like that at all. But right now we're trading right at 50,000, so it's going to be interesting. Let me see. Jason. Yo, Shane. Yo, Jay. How you doing? Let me see. Tina, I am aiming at an $85 take profit for silver. It's not a bad trade. It's very doable. I think you'll have an opportunity potentially to get 85 maybe by the end of the day. I mean, the way things are going right now, silver's printing about 82.70, up 6%. It's absolutely fascinating. I mean, the seesaw emotional roller coaster ride that silver's on is no joke. I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable how much volatility and participation is in that market. I haven't seen this for a lot of years. A lot of years makes me feel young again, right? A little bit younger than usual. Let me see. Are we live? Yeah, we're live. Ask anything you want. I can't see your name. Elekan? El? You can feel free to ask whatever you'd like. I'll do the best I can. Let me see. T Solo, salute, person holding a blue pencil. I'll give you a salute right back. All right, over in our How to Trade community, good to see everybody back in the room. A lot of familiar faces over here. Tuku, good to see you, Tuku. Welcome. Andrea Garwal, always a pleasure. Andrea Lita, always a pleasure. Lita. Steve Francis, hi, Steve. I got a message last week that was really a great message. And it was from a trader in the room that's been a part of the community for a long time. And was starting to talk about some of the success that they were experiencing. And it really makes me happy. I always say that there's a lot of different things you need to do to be a winning trader. And the first thing you need to do is not really listen to anybody off of YouTube that's in a private jet or a Ferrari. I would forget that. But it's very simple, and it's almost the same in any discipline in your life. Your success comes from the 3 Ds, desire, drive, and discipline. That's it. You have to want to be here every day. All right. You have to have that drive, that willingness to excel, that belief in yourself. That's the drive aspect. And the discipline end of it is sticking to your guns, sticking to your strategy, not chasing, not fighting trends, not building these huge positions, trying to get back all the money you lost and then some. It has to be a function of discipline. And the more that drive of component enters into your trade, the more that you're driven to be disciplined, and the more that you're driven to be consistent in the markets, and you respect your money and you don't want to give it away. That's what success is all about. That's it. It's not about private jets. It's not about Ferraris. Now, you may get there. I mean, there's a lot of things that are possible in the markets, and money is a big part of it. But you need to be very, very careful with letting those early ambitions, those financial ambitions, get in the way of what really matters. And that's your drive, that's your dedication, and that's your desire. You got to want to be here. If you don't want to be here, you're not going to make it. It's going to be really hard. Now, I'm going to talk about some psychology for a Monday. Today's a slow Monday. No two ways about it. We see a bounce in the NASDAQ. We see some good stuff coming our way, potentially on the Bitcoin market. But as far as what's happening news-wise today, it is a slow Monday. And that's very important that we understand that some days are more likely to be choppy than others. This has chop written all over it, but there are some good trades to be had. And if you're long silver, you're in a pretty good position. You're in a pretty good position, that's for sure. Team Marina, happy Monday. Good to see you. That's what I'm hoping for. Absolute roller coaster. Yeah, we're definitely there. Let me see. Tishi Posky. Wonderful. First time watching you trade live. All right. Well, welcome. Let me see. 1906. Hey, Shane, I took my first 30-minute orb on the Euro USD this morning, and it's looking good. How long do you hold 30-minute orbs? Well, I mean, you got your profit target built, so you should be in it to hit your target. As far as what I would be a max that I would be looking to, and this is sort of where the orb strategy is going to be. Execution of the orb strategy, there are some different options. What you've got to do is if you're trading like a Euro USD 30-minute orb, something like that, you probably could hold it into the next session if you had to. For me, though, if you're trading futures contracts and you're trading, like let's say the Dow 30, the E-mini Dow, E-mini NASDAQ, E-mini S&P 500, you're probably going to want to exit those before the U.S. close. And that puts you in a tough position a lot of times because you've got a price, or maybe you got a trade that's doing very well, and then you're in a situation where I'm running out of time here. What do I do? That's where your game planning and your trade management really comes into play. That's the difference between the winning traders and the losing traders, is knowing what you're going to do beforehand. So 1906, if you're going to, if it's looking good, how long do you hold the 30-minute orb? I would hold it until I hit my target, or I would be looking to exit by the end of the day. I think that's fair. Other than that, you hold it until it plays out. That's for sure. Let me see. Abdullah, good to see Abdullah. I subscribed almost 6 to 7 months ago. One of my friends recommended me that you were an actual guy. I guess it's third live stream I'm watching. I think, yes, he was right. An actual guy. I'm pretty much a normal trader. My account sizes are a little different than yours, but we're doing a lot of the same things in the market. We're in there to make money. And so if you're interested in being a trader and you want to trade, we got a lot in common. Let me see. Euro USD just bounced and got rid of my long trade. There you go. With a bit of profit eventually. Let me see. Andy Tong. Good to see Andy. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Once again, if you're interested in some strategy stuff, that 9 EMA strategy is something that you could definitely be looking into and sinking your teeth into. Let's get on over to a trade update, trade idea. We've got a couple of these on the board for today. Bitcoin on the bear to open week 6. This was a trade idea that I put out a little bit earlier today. Let's go ahead and get out to price action here. You can see our yearly support levels are big deals. They really are. We're starting to get that bounce in Bitcoin we thought maybe was coming, but late last week it did not look good. The low was 59,930, and that's down from 125,000 not too long ago, last fall. 126,000, we're down to 70. That is an epic fail. I mean, that's almost a 50% loss. At one point, we were down more than 50% off of those all-time highs. That's huge. So our downside support levels are very, very interesting to me. This 50% line is getting some compression on the yearly chart, but that zone right down there, 62%, right around 57.8, interesting. Very interesting. So we've got a trade idea out there where we're buying, what are we buying, 58,000s. I think that's going to be a pretty good area to buy a bump if we get another chance at it. I mean, with the best of the dip may be over. We don't really know just yet, but I am fascinated by how this year has started, how last year ended for Bitcoin and how this year started. And it's absolutely crazy about what's happening here in crypto. There is a lot of heat on crypto. There's a lot of reasons why for the heat. This is an interesting story right here. Private credit worries resurface in $3 trillion market as AI pressures software firms. This is interesting. We're talking about credit crunches, available capital, hampering AI. It was the reason for the big $1 trillion sell-off last week in tech stocks before they bounced on Friday. So you're damn right that hurt Bitcoin. That hurt the cryptocurrencies. So right now there's credit worries in the tech space, in the AI space, and that is a big deal to us, especially when we're trading something like crypto, something like Ethereum, Ripple, XRP, Doge. All of these things are likely to take a hit, especially if there are credit fears in the market. The number one thing that markets are afraid of, and they're afraid of a lot of things, but the number one thing, even greater than a war or political unrest or a meltdown, is liquidity problems. If it looks like there's no liquidity in the system, meaning the money supply gets smaller and smaller, and all of a sudden that money's not going to be there to invest in things like Bitcoin, in things like the blockchain infrastructure, into big tech, into AI firms, then the whole thing comes grinding to a screeching halt. I'm always looking for stories about bank failures, about liquidity problems. As soon as you see those show up, solvency issues, as soon as you see those show up, that is the underpinning for your weakness in the markets. That's the number one thing, nothing else. And a lot of people are going to say, what about nuclear war, Shane? I go, geez, nuclear war, I don't think we have to worry about our charts. Our charts aren't going to matter, believe me. But liquidity problems, yeah, those matter big. And I've been on the wrong end of it in the past. When I was a young man in the real estate game, I got on the wrong end of some liquidity issues, and I saw how fast one of the biggest markets in the world dried up, and it happened fast. So I'm always on edge about banks and liquidity. If we see more stories like that, AI problems, liquidity crunches, credit issues, oh boy, that's what really brings market crashes on, is the fear of not being able to get out of positions. Huge deal. In any case, right down there, we're looking to buy 58s. I think it's a pretty good trade. If we do get the big deep pullback, which I'm skeptical, I don't believe that we're going to get, but maybe if we get this maybe later in the year, you've got a 13-period EMA, a 13-year EMA down there at 39,000. That's my bread and butter EMA, and then 78% right there is 39,189. That's a big zone down there. I just don't know that we test it. That would mean we have to come off another 35,000 or 30,000. I don't know. I think that's a tall order. I think Bitcoin probably bottomed out for the year already, but we're going to be there in any case. All right, as far as the short-term trade goes, here's a 920 EMA crossover strategy. This is one that was very popular for us as well over on the How to Trade YouTube channel. You'll notice that we've got the big gold bar. This is something that I've coded as well using the OpenAI framework. And the 920 is a really easy strategy to trade. The 9 EMA crosses over the 20, you're looking to buy the market. Now, on intraday time frames, real short ones, I'll also incorporate RSI, the relative strength index, to be sort of a filter. But with a 30-minute time frame or a 4-hour on an intraday basis, I'm not as worried about it. I see the crossover in itself being a big deal. So what we've got right here is we've got an opportunity potentially to bid this market. So let's go ahead and buy and see exactly what happens. Right here is going to be sort of your entry point right at the beginning of your next bar. We actually got a little bit better there. The stop loss, you can do a number of different things. You can put it right beneath the price bar there, put your take profit maybe up here a little bit, something like that. Or you could, in fact, back this off down to maybe the swing low down in here, somewhere in that joint. It just really depends on how much you want to risk. So we can make this a very, very tight trade, a tight scalp, something like that. Put our trade right down there about 69.89. Maybe we just risk about, $700 on this. Not bad. And remember, these are demo dollars on this platform. This isn't real money. We're probably going to be trading real money relatively soon. But for right this minute, a long play in Bitcoin, I don't mind it. I mean, you can see you're up about 0.25% on the day. The market's really reversed off of these bottoms. Maybe a good trade, or we may get stopped out right now. This is sort of the way that it is. 1 to 3% on any given trade. That's the ticket. That's for sure. Let me see. Abdullah, I'm not here to get signal, but I am here to learn something and improve my point of view and psychology. Absolutely. I jumped in Bitcoin spot at 64,000. First target's 90 and then holding for the all-time high. Yeah, you certainly could do that. I don't necessarily disagree with you, Abdullah. One of the things that I was reading, I think it was, what was it, Andrew Tate jumped into a bunch more Bitcoin at 60,000. And even though these are influencer trades, they still really suggest that there's a lot of people that bought that dip down there at 60,000 for Bitcoin. And I think that's probably a pretty good move. So you've got pretty good entry to the top side, 64, holding out for 90, and then the all-time high. Yeah, just be prepared to hold it. You're probably going to be holding that for months and months. Not bad. It's not a bad trade. I don't know, may cash in right away, but you just want to be sure that you're patient with that trade. It's more of an investment, it sounds like. But I think it could be pretty good, Abdullah. Not bad. Not a bad idea. All right, let's get right on out to gold. I know everybody wants to see the gold market. I wanted to start with a 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart here for gold is interesting, and the reason why it's interesting is compression. I love compression around key levels. This 5,000 level is absolutely huge, and you can see we've really started the game trading this area hard since yesterday. So this is sort of an area where I'm watching closely. As far as a 4-hour chart, how would I approach trading this? Well, I still like the bullish end of the market. I really do. I think that we've got an opportunity potentially to get into some nice trades. I just don't really know that it's necessarily the time to do this on a 4-hour. Let's go to a daily. Daily time frame, sort of a spike high, a spike low. I mean, really a tough type of a situation here for gold. So the question with this type of environment, am I on the long side or the short side? Do I want to buy? Do I want to sell? What do I want to do? For me, there's a couple of ways to trade it. The first way that you could trade this for gold is if you wanted to sell this thing. Compression, you could be looking maybe to take a short scalp right up there from about 5,141-ish. That's not a bad trade. Odds are you're going to get a little bit of rotation down from that zone. That's going to give you a chance potentially to make a few bucks. Now, 78% up here. That's sort of the trade idea we had out last week. That's the one I'm looking for. I like the opportunity up there potentially to sell right in front of 53. And the idea there is very simple. You're just looking for a pullback in price action. That's it. We're not looking to call the top of the market. We're not trying to figure out exactly what's going to happen to gold for the next 6 months from there. We're just trying to step in and grab a little bit of a retracement after a test of that zone. So we've got that trade idea up in the How to Trade trading room. You might want to check that one out as well. I'll be reviewing this as we get closer during the week. For right now, though, I really don't have a problem with the overall sort of bullish nature of this market. It is rebounding. You're back up above 5,000 and moving higher. I think you're in an interesting position here, probably for the rest of the day, maybe even the rest of the week, being potentially bullish up to these levels. I expect to test to 51.40. I expect to test to 53.42 this week. We just have to wait and see exactly how it pans out. Now, as far as the big picture, what do we want to do big picture? Well, I mean, we could look to buy it, but I want to see a retracement. I really want to see a retracement before I go diving into this market to the top side, because as of right now, it really does look like we're going to make a push up to our all-time highs, our ATHs. So I want to be careful here. I don't want to get fooled. You know, that's that old song, we won't be fooled again. A lot of people have been getting fooled on gold, buying it without good trade location. In my view, 5,052 is not very good trade location to the top side. Now, if you're buying the market from this level, I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, and I'm not saying that you're not going to make money. For me, though, there's got to be a better entry point, and it's got to come a little bit later in the week. I'm not interested in just buying this thing just to buy it. I think that could be a really bad mistake, especially if we get a retracement down into sort of the guts of where we were not too long ago last week. Early February trade, great trading environment. I definitely like it. I'm not going to have any problem maybe going long later this week, but I got to see more. We need more evidence. And right now, you had that big 3-day sell-off to end January and open February, and we are just trading sideways inside of that market crash. And I think that it's really important that we let this thing shake out a little bit. There's no hurry to get into the market. It is Monday. There is no hurry. There is no hurry at all. All right, here we go. Week 6, 2026, interesting week, big trading week in my opinion. I think we're going to make some good trades and a lot of dough. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't done anything in my own personal accounts today. Typically, the day after the Super Bowl is the least productive day on, at least in the United States, on the work calendar. A lot of people are out of work. A lot of people are hungover. A lot of people have bagged it today. A lot of Patriots fans out there still feel sick about their offense. That was an incredibly impressive defensive showing from the Seattle Seahawks. I do want to congratulate them on winning the Super Bowl. I want to congratulate, former Montana Grizzly, Patrick O'Connell, had a great game on special teams. Congratulations, Patrick, on your Super Bowl ring and being a champion now. I watched him play linebacker at the University of Montana, and he was a dandy. He's from not too far from your Kalispell. So congratulations, Mr. O'Connell. That was well done. Also, big shout out to Ty Okada, who was a free safety. Also played some special teams yesterday for the Seahawks, and he was from Bozeman. He went from being a walk-on over for Montana State to being an NFL champion. Well done, fellas. Well done. As for the game itself, it was sort of a clunker. We had Gordon Williams was saying, "Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible." It was a really slow game. But today, remember, Super Bowl Monday is typically the least productive day on the calendar. And right now I'm seeing it in the markets show up. I mean, these equities markets don't really want to move. They don't want to do anything. We're seeing US 30 right now in compression. Tells us that, yeah, maybe there isn't too many traders in there just yet. Business will pick up tomorrow. Let's see. So week 6, we've got the T-bill auctions. I'm going to go over those right now. They're not a big deal. Retail sales tomorrow, interesting number. Retail sales typically could move the markets. A December retail sales is a big figure because it suggests consumption from that holiday season. I think that's going to be interesting for us. We're going to have to take a good look at that. U.S. non-farm payrolls from January. NFP is going to be a big deal, and it's going to be on a Wednesday. I can't remember the last time it was on a Wednesday, so you're going to have to pay attention. The market's going to be crazy on Wednesday. Tune in, NFP Live. I'll have you all the coverage live. We'll trade it live and break it down in real time. U.S. non-farm payrolls for January, the first one of 2026. We're going to be going live early my time, early Wednesday morning. Be sure to tune in, and we'll get after it. Thursday, UK GDP during that London session, and also U.S. home sales, existing home sales. Could be an interesting day for us on Thursday. Friday, U.S. CPI. That's going to be a huge blockbuster event. We're going to be watching CPI closely, and I'll have that live for you as well. We had another trade update right here, and this is the U.S. 30. Will the U.S. 30 ever test the 50,000 level? We actually had a sell set up right in front of 50,000. You can see I put it on, and you'll notice that the trade's really getting hit. We've got sort of this daily time frame, and just an absolute epic break. Very surprised that we moved this far above 50,000 right now. I don't think it's going to last, though, but right now my technicals are telling me you probably need to be thinking about if you're still holding this short from down in here, you probably need to be thinking about making an exit if we break and close higher today, just because you don't want to lose your entire bankroll on a trade like this. But this right here, 50,000, you can see we've got the funny money in. We're down about 1,500 on the trade, not really that much, but we're definitely sort of rotating around right at 50,000. So a couple of things I want to point out with this trade idea. Number one, it's not going really well. It's not dead yet, but it's not going really well, in my opinion. I think your stop loss probably has to be up above here. But if you do take a look at what exactly happened here Friday, there's your high right there, 50,000. Your high was 49,882. Excuse me, 49,982. Wow, that's tough to say. Pullback was right down there, 49.13, 49.913, really compressed. So you really went up to 50 and you pulled off about 100 points, and then you rallied into the close, which was very surprising for these markets to close on a high. And then right here, you saw sort of that gap open today or yesterday on the electronic open. Really difficult to put our finger on what's happening. Big sell-off. This trade actually went positive on the U.S. Open. Looked like things were going to come back and develop and really go our way. We're just looking for a pullback right down in here somewhere. And right now, you can see we're sort of back at 50. Interesting close today for the U.S. 30. I think that you need a close. If you're going to hang in this short play, you're going to need the close under 50,000. I believe that. If you're going to build your trade accordingly, your stop loss more than likely now has to be right up above that zone, and then your take profit has got to be somewhere down in here. Now, our initial trade idea, I do believe that initially got stopped out. It was a real tight trade for only about, 350 pips. I think we were looking at. So 49, so the stop out would have been, 50,000, 250, something like that. Yeah, we would have been right there. So technically, I think this trade's still alive. And that this one right here, I would be looking at that. Remember, these are demo dollars. This is funny money. This isn't real money. There will come a time when we're doing the real money, but I don't think the back office wants to do it. So I don't know that we're going to be trading real money anytime soon. I think I can do it on the futures contracts and not get into trouble, but we have to remember that I'm not a financial advisor. Everything here is just for educational purposes and sort of showing you a little bit behind the scenes of what I'm looking at in the market. Interesting trade right there. That's an interesting one from 50,000, that's for sure. Let's see. We got a few questions left, and then we're going to get on over to silver, talk a little bit about Monday psychology, and then get on rolling probably with our maybe pull up a few forex pairs. If there's any market that you'd like to look at, be sure to let me know. All right. Let me see. Okay. Abdullah, what do you think Trump did to bring volatility to the markets, or did he manipulate the markets? What's your opinion? Market manipulation is such an interesting topic. A lot of people don't believe it exists. Other people know it exists. I've always found Trump's announcements and his involvement in the financial markets, especially with the myriad of companies that Trump Inc. owns, I always find it interesting, the timing of some of his comments. So I'm not really going to say that it's out and out market manipulation, but we've seen a lot of comments occur during market hours, which if you knew what he was going to say beforehand, you could have positioned yourself and made money on it. So at a base level, when Trump comes out and says we're going to double the stock markets from 50,000 to 100,000, it's sort of tongue-in-cheek. I take it sort of tongue-in-cheek, and I go, well, you don't know that. There's a lot more at stake than just going up, or just the government and the president saying that the markets are going to double. That doesn't just make them double. There's a lot that has to happen for the Dow to go to 100,000 before Trump leaves office. It does. There's a lot that has to happen. You have to have dovish policy. You have to have economic growth. You have to have foreign investiture streaming into the country. You probably have to see your trade wars unwind a little bit. That would be my guess. Now, is it possible? Anything's possible. If we've learned anything, anything's possible in this world. So do I believe out and out that he manipulates the markets consciously? I don't know. I genuinely, I won't even speak to it because I don't know. But I know that the timing of some of these announcements, they're interesting. There's a lot of folks that, especially in those gold markets, Trump will say something and gold will go absolutely crazy. And you'll go, man, what's going on with that? Or a specific stock will go crazy or something like that. So you got to be careful when Trump's talking. Definitely be careful when he's talking. Dow to hit 70,000 by 2029. I don't know, Bab G's, I don't know. I know that somewhere in here there's a big pullback for equities. There really is. And whether it comes this year, next year, or in 2028, I really don't know. But 70,000 eventually, yeah, the way that the Dow and all the indices are built, they're built to always go up. And that's a function of your dollars typically over time losing value. So the prices of the stocks included in these indexes are always going to go up. And also you have to be an X amount of performer if you're going to be listed on the Dow 30 or if you're going to be listed on the US 500. They're always shaking those lineups up. The top performers are always going to be there. So theoretically, they're designed to always grow. Something to think about there if you're interested in taking a long position on that. Let's see. T. Marina, there's a saying from where I'm from. Fool me once, shame on you. Shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again. Yeah, I remember when Bush said that, T. Marina. You fool me once, shame on, and then he lost it halfway through. I remember that. And then finally he goes, well, we can't get fooled again. I go, God. I remember that. That was a while ago. Crazy stuff. George W. Bush. That was sort of when I was in my 20s, living through the Bush era here in the United States. A lot of war, and that lot of financial meltdown. He left office during a financial meltdown. It is what it is. Let me see, Eli, 25% growth every year. It's possible. Don't know if it is going to happen. Let me see, Abdullah, I was messing around and find something interesting. He brings the Fed, who is pro-Bitcoin, but before the announcement, he also said somewhere the weak dollar is great for trade, but Kevin wants a strong dollar. Yeah, he's sending switch signals, or he's just switching things up, keeping everybody guessing. That's one thing that you can bet on with Trump, is he's going to keep everybody guessing. He's not going to tell you exactly what they're going to do because he wants that element of surprise. And that goes back to the art of the deal, what he wrote in his books about doing real estate deals. He wanted everybody off balance all the time. And that's exactly how he handles these statements. Exactly. Let me see, Joshua. Hello, Joshua. How are you? Hello, Shane. Thank you. I'm still traveling and need to go for another meeting. I will watch again later. Absolutely, Joshua. We're on demand. Feel free to pull us up on demand. And, yeah, you can check us out whenever you want. Gordon Williams, why is switch markets not accepting U.S. citizens? Good question, Gordon. Eventually, that will be in the cards, but for right now, Switch is sort of focusing on municipalities that are overseas, that are international. Canada is a big one that they cater. Switch Markets caters to up here in North America. Canada, a lot of South American venues, a lot of European venues, and a lot of Asia as well, and Middle East. So the United States eventually will come online, Gordon. It's just going to be a matter of time, and I honestly have no idea on the timetable. But I believe it's. I'm not actually necessarily. I'm not sure why. I think it just costs money for your infrastructure. But yeah, it's a good question. Are we late on our Euro USD buy? No, I think we're going to be all right. We'll look at the Euro USD here in a second. Let's talk a little bit about Monday psychology. Most Mondays are slow. That's exactly what we're seeing today. Unless you're in commodities, then the market's booming. We've got to trade to the positive. Remember, we're generating momentum on a Monday. For me, I'm not interested in taking big risks on Monday. I know Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are when I want to make my money. So Monday psychology for me is all about game planning. It's all about dialing into these markets, getting ready to trade, and getting some good levels to work with. So I'm focusing on analysis by far. I want to game plan for the week ahead. I want to know my economic calendar. I want to know the trends and know my levels. That's what I want. And then we're going to get it going. We're going to generate momentum. And the way we do that is we do not go into a hole on Monday. You're going to have to take some trades, but you don't want to take a big loss on a Monday. So the idea is that maybe if you take a few trades, maybe you take smaller profits than you maybe would have done previously. And that would have been a pretty good way to get the week started. Maybe you take a few small tick profits to get into that green, get some money coming in, and maybe pile on the risk as the week goes, as we get a better idea of what's happening. I think that's a pretty good way to approach it. The psychology of the trading week. I really like that type of framework on a Monday. Keeps you out of trouble, keeps our morale high and our energy up going into Tuesday. Let's see, 3 and 6 month T-bills, nothing really going on here. 3-month T-bill auction, 3.6%. That's nothing. That means yields did not move at all. In the 6-month T-bill auction, 3.5% is down a little bit from 3.525. That suggests that maybe we're looking at a little bit more dovish policy. All right, let's take a look at silver and then the Euro USD. Right here for silver. Really a fantastic level we had in play down there at 63.97. So right around 64 is a fantastic bottom. Really an incredible swing low and then really an incredible bounce from that zone. Let's take this right down to the daily time frame, and you'll see exactly what happened. There was the strong hit on Friday, the 6th of February. We went right down and hit that 62% low right at 64.06 and have bounced up about $18. About $18. So, you know, that is an incredible trade. It's one of those trades that you go, geez. I mean, really, if you caught that with a leveraged position, that's one of those that makes your year. I mean, it really does. So that was a perfect hit. It was what I would just call a sweet trade. 38%, you'll notice that up there was very dicey, very tricky. 50% was pretty good, but 62%, the back end of that golden zone, preserved that uptrend. In silver, it is still very much alive and rolling to the top side. So it's interesting what's happening here in the metals markets. Still have a bullish bias, not really afraid of taking the longs, but we've got to get good trade location. So for me, I would love a pullback down here again. That would be great. But maybe even a pullback right in this zone right in here. Let's take this down to a 4-hour chart. Okay, a 4-hour chart's interesting. What you've got right there is that 50% level we just showed you. I'm on the longer time frame. What could we potentially do? We could go right on that 2-day range. Check out the 2-day range. 38% at 76. This area right there at 74, 74.98. So 75 to 76 could be the area that you're looking for. That's not a bad pullback. Now, does it ever come back? I don't know that. I don't think so. I think that it looks like the bidders are back in silver, and maybe that short-term dip is over, but it was an epic one. I mean, it was a big deal. That sell-off that developed last Thursday afternoon, I remember watching it live. Unbelievable. Big sell-off, big bounce, and now you're rolling to the top side. Let's a good look at silver right there. So you look at the Euro USD. Euro USD. So the question from Gordon, are we late on our Euro USD buy? You know, I don't really think so. We just lost all our indicators. That's no good. No, close without saving. Interesting stuff right here. Let's go right there. Bitcoin sort of rotating around, slowed way down for us. Let's just go ahead and pull up our template. Something like this. Let's go Euro USD. 30-minute chart Euro USD. You can almost see what I'm going to do here. Nice big rally, You see that the volume really picked up at about 8 a.m. Eastern. Nice roll, nice runner. So the pullback was relatively simple, relatively obvious from there. There was your pullback. Right in here, sort of a doji and then a break to the top side. So you'd be looking at 119 as being legitimate downside support right now late in the day, Gordon. I think that if you were going to play this and scalp it potentially, maybe for 4 or 5 ticks, something like that, eight pips, that area right in there is interesting. So you're trading 1911 right there, 19 even. Interesting zone. I think that's a pretty darn good support zone as we roll into the late U.S. session. Do you get another opportunity at it? That's going to be tough. I doubt it. I really doubt it. Let's go to our macro picture with the Euro USD. See exactly what we have going here. Monthly chart, what's happening? Well, you have January right there, and you're sort of trading right in the center of this January range. That's a problematic for a couple of reasons. Number one, it suggests deep rotation and that nothing's really trending. So we have to change the way we think and change the way that we approach this market. So definitely have your eyes on yearly highs. See, we broke above last year's highs right in this zone. Last September's highs, we broke above that, and now you're looking at about 120.83 to the top side as being the new highs. So key levels, 121, 122.50. Yeah, that's one that we could definitely test, and I think does happen. I like the long side of this market. I think the U.S. dollar eventually does fade, we're seeing it today, off 0.75%. So you're probably looking at that yearly high right now, 122.50, and then maybe 125 as being potential destinations. For me, you could even lose that yearly high. It's not the biggest deal in the world. This pullback zone in here, right from this order block. So essentially what I'm saying is this low right up to last month's high, and you're right in there somewhere. So 116.97, maybe 117 is a great pullback. I just don't think we get it. I think this market's up and away, and we are definitely cruising towards some of those topside levels. We're going to have to watch this one closely, but I don't think that, do you buy right now? I'd probably wait for a pullback to 119 and buy from there. That at least gives you a shot at a late day trade. This right here, though, kind of problematic to buy in at this level at this juncture. Monthly uptrend is still very much intact, but these ranges really worry me. This big range from January worries me. I think we could easily trade sideways in here for a while. It's just, where do we trade from? I want a deeper pullback. That's what I would say. All right. Let me see. GU bullish looking for 141.11. Andy, let's see. We had some weekly support drawn up for last week's trade. Absolutely fantastic stuff right there. Came right down, hit that 135 zone, and then bounced up. We had a trade idea on that turned out pretty well. A little sloppier than I thought, but not bad. It was good for 50 pips. Well, it was good for 150 pips. But this pullback right here, now you can see that the bet is on. The bids are on. You're looking for 141 to the top side. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. I think that the dollar will fade. I don't really have much confidence in it this year. I think you're going to see a lot of rate cuts about middle of the year, June, July, August, right in there. That's when the rate cuts are going to start really happening aggressively. But this area right in here is interesting to me. Pullback, bounced off of that 135.50 zone with sort of, really vigor. And now you're bounced. You're up to about 136.79. So you're up about 129 pips, something like that. And you're sort of cruising above 38%, which is at 136.68. Pretty bullish here. If you're looking for 141, it's not a bad trade. You're going to be in this one for a little while. That's for sure. 140 even is more than likely going to be an area of two-way resistance. Or, excuse me, not two-way resistance. Only resistance is resistance. But something like this, you definitely want to be aware of. Remember, markets have memories. That triple top right there, what is it? 2021 high, 142.42, 140.17, right in there. This zone right in here. Let's go to the triple top, though. 142.42. Top right there, 142.34 and 142.50. So, yeah, 141's doable. I wouldn't eat your lunch for shooting for that. Essentially, you're just looking at this order block right there. There's nothing wrong with that. That's for sure. Let me see, 512 ELA. I agree with the Euro USD. All right, we're reaching a consensus. All right, everybody, I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off for today. Let's go ahead and just go around the horn and take a look at a few of our trades. This one's not doing much. This 30-minute Bitcoin, you can see, sort of got your stop loss right there. I'd say it's probably a higher risk trade just because you're not giving it much room to work. if you're down beneath that swing low, you probably had a little bit better chance to get in on maybe a big runner, but it's a lot more risk. Let's go ahead and check out our 9 EMAs, see how those trades panned out. And there you go. You're in a decent position here. This is a textbook example of why I like putting my stop losses where I put them. I put them right beneath that swing low lined up with that RSI being oversold. There was your buy signal. Sweet, sweet as candy right there. But if you played this really tight and that was your stop loss, you got stopped out. On a 1 minute trade, you've got to give this a little bit more chance to work. And as you can see, you're up in the green now. It's just more of a question of where you take profits from here. Good looking trade, though. Gold definitely on the rally there. Let's go to the silver market. Silver market, I believe, was real similar, something like this. Yeah, right there was probably going to be your bid. And then you came out. You actually got chopped out of this one. Let's go back a little bit. Yeah, you got chopped out of this one for sure. A couple of pretty good scalps right there, but you can see you're fighting a pretty stiff trend. This area right here, it is a challenge, guys. It's a challenge doing 1 minute charts, no doubt about it. This area right here, though, you can see really the power of this strategy if you get dialed into the right time frame and get one of these trades. Take a look at that. There's your buy. There's your RSI deep into oversold. There's your bid, and you caught the move for the day. That's fantastic. That's the kind of trade that makes everybody smile. You're not far off of the Ferraris when you win a few of those. This right here was your sell signal. You got a pretty nice little sell going. You might have got stopped out right there. If you put your stop loss right above that bar, you've got to pad them a little bit. This area right in here and then the big sell-off, maybe it works. 5 minute chart, though, pretty good during that London U.S. overlap. Not a bad duration to be trading in the 9 EMA. Interesting. I'll be interested to see what you guys think about it once you see the PDFs and check the video out and use the EA. All right, everybody. I think that's a wrap for today. I want to thank you for joining me. I have an absolute ton of messages on my live chat right there over in the How to Trade community. I've got to get to them. Today's a busy day, though. Writing up the newsletter. I have to film the Switch On Hot Picks. That's going to be dropping later today as well. So there's a lot going on here. There's going to be a lot of content hitting the Switch Markets YouTube channel in the next, 12 hours, 18 hours. We'll be ready with our Hot Picks video. Be sure to check that out. And then also, if you signed up for our newsletter already, you'll get our newsletter. And right now I'm previewing NFP, CPI. We're also talking about the tech sell-off. Maybe look at that NASDAQ market. And then also the U.S. dollar index is definitely in play. It is on the move. The dollar is moving around. Shouldn't surprise anybody on a news week. Okay, I want to thank you for joining me once again. Have a fantastic trading session. Business is due to pick up on Tuesday, so if you didn't have a very good Monday, don't stress it. Today's a great day for preparation. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, those are the days where we really need to put some steaks in the freezer. All right, everybody, have a great day. Trade the action well, and we'll talk soon. See you.